Let's see. All right. It says we are live, so let me go to my page and see if it's showing up. Yep.
We're live.
Yes. Hey, y'all. I'm going to just share it to my page.
Okay.
Just a second.
I don't know how to do nothing fancy over here. I don't want to mess nothing up.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't touch nothing.
I ain't going to touch anything. I'm going to sip my natty iced tea and just wait patiently.
I know that's right. That's all right. We're going to get it going. We're going to get it going. So y'all come on in. Make yourselves comfortable. While I share this live. It's going to be a great discussion tonight.
We're going to kick the Willy Bobo.
We're going to have a good time. All right. Let's see. Okay.
Let me see if maybe I can share it from my phone while we're doing all of this stuff to let people know, like, how it's down.
Let them know we in here.
But I'm here, though. I showed up. I wasn't scared. Nobody's scared of you, Siobhan.
You don't need to be. No need to be. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to give it a couple of more minutes before we get started.
Take your time and hurry up.
Right, at the same time.
All good. All good.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Let me turn this phone down.
Uh-huh.
Turn down, baby. Turn down. All right. I'm trying to share this thing. Okay, share. Share my world.
Sing now, sing.
Yeah, no, y'all gotta pay for that. There's no freestyles anymore. It's pay styles.
I know that. You said pay styles.
Yeah. And big shout out to Miss L. We were in the studio today making something beautiful.
Nice. Hey, Miss L.
Yeah, he's in the studio. Did y'all know she sang? Did you know she sung?
I didn't know she sang.
Yes, indeed. She's getting busy. She got a little something she's working on. I probably wasn't even supposed to leak it, but you know.
It's out there now.
I only got to answer to myself, so you know. But yeah, we working on some dope stuff in this camp over here in the indie arts family.
Nice. I love it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Let's go.
We can get into this conversation. So for those of you who are just tuning in, my name is Siobhan Carter. I am the You Relationship Coach and founder of Walking in Wholeness. And that means I am passionate about all things concerning relationships, especially the relationship that you have with yourself. And I am also the founder of Purpose Publishing Companies, where I help first-time authors publish their books so that their stories can be heard. And tonight, I have the pleasure of being joined by a good brother that I connected with on Instagram through Miss L. And we connected and we've been collaborating. I was just on his show last night and I was on it before. So I have the pleasure of being joined by him on my show tonight. So Mr. Nat Busy, can you introduce yourself to the people?
Hello, good people. I am Nat Busy, aka Nat Burns, and I am so happy to be here. Siobhan was one of my reoccurring guests on the God Hour Live. She's one of my most poised, one of my most informed, and one of my most eloquent guests. And it was a pleasure to talk with her there, and it's even more of a pleasure to talk to you here on your platform because it's all pretty and stuff, you know?
Nice. I'm so glad that you're able to join me tonight. So let's get into it. We are going to be talking about respect versus disrespect. RESPECT versus
what it means to me.
Right. In relationships. So, just a personal story to just make this touch bases with me and how this hits home for me. When I was married, respect was one of the things. He said I was a good wife, but respect was one of the things that he did point out as an issue. And, and at the time I didn't realize it, but Right. I didn't realize that being a good supportive wife and everything, but when I really sit back and think about it, we went through a phase where he lost his job, and I think I had started to develop a sense of disrespect because he wasn't doing the attitude of disrespect.
Oh,
He wasn't doing the things that I thought he should be doing, to help support our family. So it was just a lot of things that was going on, but I can say that I have been guilty of showing a man disrespect in a relationship. So that's my personal story. But I want to hear from you from a man's perspective. What does it mean, this notion of respect versus disrespect? What does that mean?
well, the scenario you just painted is the crux of it a lot of times, if we're just speaking from a financial perspective. But there's so many other scenarios, and it goes both ways. I've been the man in the scenario that you spoke about.
Wow.
I recall the way it came back to me. Now I just wanted to get a little clarity on your situation, though, if I may add. Was there ever a time when the situation was reversed? Was there ever a time when you weren't working and he was working?
It wasn't. No.
But he worked most of you guys' relationship.
The first year, yep.
Oh, okay. I don't want to get too deep because
Right.
There's layers to this thing.
Yeah, it is.
Like, say for instance, you meet a guy. He's down on his luck. He really don't have a job. You have a job, so you say, "Yo, until you get on your feet, I'm gonna hold you down."
Right.
But he just seems to never get on his feet. Then I can see where you have a little contempt for that brother because you're like, "Yo, you just lazy. You just don't want to do nothing with yourself."
Right.
But so if the scenario is with you with a brother and he was working most of the time, and he's a hardworking guy, he was always, available for work and got to work on time, but he just got laid off or something, and he maybe just have a hard time landing something, and then you're being contemptuous towards him, then that's when it's a little disrespectful.
Right.
Because
right.
you should be treating him with the same understanding you wouldn't be treated with if the shoe was on the other foot.
Right.
So, because we're men, we're supposed to be looked at as providers no matter what the situation is. But because of that, that's what lands a lot of us in the penitentiary.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we out there trying to get it by any means necessary. I don't know. Maybe if I do this, I don't know. I don't want to look crazy. I'm not gonna touch that. It looks like you got a wide back, and I'm like, but whatever. But
you good.
But for me, all right, disrespect comes in a lot of different forms. A lot of that should be vetted in the courting process. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you could just talk to people a little crazy, and it goes both ways. You don't know. I always say that we're dating basically strangers, in this day and age. I didn't grow up with you. I don't know what your customs are, your values. I don't know how they spoke in your household, So you might be cool with calling me out my name or talking loud to me. And then at the end of that say, boy, but I love you. That's just how I am.
Right.
But to me, that might just be a high level form of disrespect, especially if I'm embarrassed by it or if you're doing it in times that, are very inopportune. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, because what if that is how somebody is raised? What if in their environment, let's say if you're from a certain part of town or in your family where you just talk loud, that's just what you do, or it's a part of your culture. And so if you're talking loud at your significant other, you're not trying to be disrespectful, but like you said, it may come across as disrespectful because that's just not, how you're receiving it. So what happens in that instance?
Well, as I said, prior to that, that's got to be fleshed out in the vetting process. I think because of all of the things we like about somebody, we'll overlook some of the things that we're going to grow to dislike more. Because, say, for instance, you just do it for me visually. You know what I'm saying? I just love the way you look. I just love the way you smell. I love the way you feel. I might could take your voice getting high every so often. I might be able to take your voice getting high more often than I ever took it from someone else. You know what I mean? My ex might see us in the mall. You might be talking crazy, and she'd be like, I don't even recognize him. He would have definitely walked off and left me if it was me, but you don't look like her. You don't make me feel like she does. So you know, it's almost trading the value you get versus it's like an asset versus that liability.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will tell anybody though, if it's disrespectful in the way that someone's talking to you, and you sacrifice that for vanity, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're almost gonna get what you deserve at the end of the day because you compromised an intangible in my perception, you know.
Wow. Wow.
And the respect you have for yourself should be, you know, absolute. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you don't like being called out your name, the B word and this, that, and the third,
Mm-hmm.
and I do that, and you pardon it because I'm super duper handsome, or I made you feel super duper good in the bed, or I drive this kind of car, or I have this kind of status, then you compromise yourself, and this is what it is.
So what does it make a man feel like? Or first, give me an example of some ways that a woman can be disrespectful. And then what does it make a man feel like when that's happening?
Okay. There's a gentleman who talked about 7 levels of disrespect. I can't forget his name. It's not grabbing me right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a progression. You know what I'm saying? And the first part of it sometimes is just the loud talking, the you know, the you know, showing you up in public type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like anybody is supposed to be submissive because everything I'm saying to you is a vice versa situation.
Absolutely.
Fellas do it too.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he take you to this party, you know what I'm saying? And he say, you know, I'm gonna be right back. Don't go nowhere. You decide to go to the bathroom while when he come back, you ain't there. He catch you coming across the dance floor. Some guy who don't know y'all together just happens to, hey, how you doing, sis? And you be like, you trying to be polite about it because
right.
F you doing over there, blah, blah, blah. And now he getting loud with you at this party. And you like, wait a minute. How did you go from 0 to 100 real quick? And I think sometimes it's, you know, I've been in scenarios personally where that was vice versa, where a young lady was getting loud with me about something she either accused me of or some way she felt I should have been, or being upset because someone paid me attention or what have you. I've been guilty of it myself. I'm not gonna sit here and lie on your show and say that at one point in my life when I was much younger, teens, early 20s, I was like that. I was very territorial. I was taught to be like that.
Wow.
What's mine is supposed to be mine.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's disrespectful to a person's. You know, that's disrespectful to your person. That's just this. I don't own you. You know.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that it can go both ways because it can. And I know there are a lot of women viewing this tonight and men as well. And we like to have a balanced perspective. So I'm glad that you pointed that out. And, you know, while the people are watching, please chime in with, as I'm asking questions, you know, chime in with your thoughts as well. We want this to be an interactive discussion. So
sure. I don't know it all.
So William says, Ms. Carter, you have been having some good guests on your show. Thank you very much.
To my man William. Thank you, good brother.
Thank you. And so Still Many says, is that an issue with insecurity? So if a person is, you know, being territorial or being disrespectful, is that an issue of insecurity?
Absolutely. That's it in a nutshell. You know, you're just putting a dressing on it to try to hide it with anger and all of this other stuff. Because, I mean, for what it's worth, man, no, you know, we come from a human race that sees a pretty flower and wants to pick it. You know what I'm saying? Or you see a pretty bird and you want to put it in the cage and keep it in your house.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't want to admire this bird when it shows up. And if this bird enjoys coming to your bird feed in your yard, you get to see it every day. No, you want to put it in a cage and put it in your house. And I think we do that with people.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing that attracted you to a person be the same thing you're trying to stifle out of this person now that you have it.
Wow. So it's like, now that you have it, I want to put you in a cage because I don't want anybody else to be attracted to that same thing and try to
crazy. I think that's sick.
Wow. Wow.
I think that's a real sick way. Pardon me, because I may be ruffling some feathers, stepping on some toes.
That's all right.
It's all right.
Let's
Siobhan got my back. Y'all
I
ain't gonna
got
say
you.
nothing
Let's go there.
Nah, but at the end of the day, I really feel like that's what we be doing to people. Like, you met her at the club. She was wearing this outfit that caused you to stop her and say something to her. You got her number. You went out to dinner with her. You liked the personality. She liked yours. Y'all got together. You spent some time together. You became intimate. Now she want to go to the club with her friends, and you like, no, you ain't going. And you definitely ain't wearing that. When did you get to be her boss? I don't understand. I used to be that guy though.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So what shifted for you? So thank you for admitting that used to be you. So what shifted? How did you get to a point of just saying, you know what, this is not okay?
Ooh. Oh man. Well, first and foremost, it was always a mixed feeling for me because I come from a what you call a broken home. My mother and father weren't together. I was primarily raised by my mother. I had 3 sisters in my house and a gay brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of feminine energy in my house. So sometimes when I went outside and I started talking to the wrong OGs, they gave me a lot of bad advice.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even though I'm a natural humanitarian, you know what I'm saying? So even though I inherently felt like I didn't control or own anyone, that ego that I had, and along with the OG saying, "Oh, ain't that your girl over there? What she talking to him for?" You know what I mean?
Wow.
And you better go handle that. Sisters do it too. Y'all go through it, girl. Man, I seen him. He was all in her face. Now you think you got to scratch his face, put a brick through his windshield, and you think that you have to do all of this stuff because they disrespected you. No, they were living their lives. You feel me? So at any point I'm living my life and it conflicts with the way you're living your life, we have to have a discussion, a mature discussion. But I don't get to control you. You don't get to control me. So as it pertains to disrespect, it's disrespectful to have an agreement with someone and then you do something outside of the agreement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's disrespectful. If we made a pledge of sorts with each other, and I pledge I'm not sleeping with nobody, you're the only one for me, this, that, and the third, and then you find out I'm doing something foul, okay, that's disrespectful. I could have been honest with you, could have told you I wasn't ready for that, or what have you.
Right.
So the biggest form of disrespect is lying. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. I know it's some women out there that can amen that. Go ahead.
But here's the thing with that. A lot of that is lying to yourself.
Ooh.
Sis, sometimes you lying to yourself about being disrespected. He ain't disrespect you. He just wasn't feeling you like that.
Wow.
But that didn't sit well with your she-go.
Yeah. Because we have it. We have that she-go. Yes, we do.
Yeah. And fellas, stop calling these women out of their names and calling them women of the night and saying that they sleep around just because they didn't want to sleep with you.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful. You know? I just amen. Thank you. I just think that we should always, my mother always told me, your rights end where other people's rights begin. You know what I'm saying? So I got the right to like you, but you have the right not to be dominated by me. You know, so just because I like you don't mean I own you, and vice versa.
Yeah. So let's unpack this even more, right? So we can say it on both sides. So a man or a woman is being disrespected. Is there or a man or a woman is feeling disrespected or disrespect is happening in the relationship? Is there a situation where the man or the woman could be contributing to that person treating them that way?
Absolutely. And I think that lends itself to that big word called codependency.
You
know what I'm saying? Where you're being disrespected, but I just don't want you to leave.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
She go. Yeah. We have egos, they have she goes. You know? And if you don't respect that she goes. Now, but seriously, when you find yourself in a codependent situation, you know, a lot of times it happens to women in the sense where you get with a quote unquote powerful man or quote unquote, wealthy man. And then you handicap yourself by not doing as much for you as you could be doing because you allow him to do all of this stuff for you. So now he pays your rent, he feeds you, he do all of this.
Right.
But when he don't come home, don't be asking him where he been. It ain't none of your business where I've been. I pay the bills around here. What's wrong with you? Where my food at? You know? You might say that's disrespectful, right?
Yeah, because I'm like, hold on, now wait, now break that down for me, Nat. Nat, make that make sense. Come on, wait, hold on.
Here's the thing, like, okay.
All right.
We're gonna go through that scenario one more time.
Right, let's rewind.
He's a powerful man. You
know?
Let's give him a name, Donald, right?
Donald,
and she's a beautiful woman by society standards.
Okay.
We'll give her a name, Melania, right?
Right.
You feel me?
I got you.
He pay all her bills. He makes sure she get to wear all that fly stuff she like in the mall. But if I slide off with the blonde, you know what I'm talking about? You feel me? Don't say nothing, because you ate every day this month. You had clean clothes. You don't have to worry about where you're going to sleep. I got your whole family here on visas. You know what I'm saying? I take care of you. It's disrespectful for you to ask me about my business when I do all of this for you. That's how people perceive it.
Okay.
You know me? But on the flip side, you know, there are some women who are also in that position. There are some professional women out there. You feel me? There are some nurses, some RNs. You know what I'm saying? There are some lawyers. There were some just straight administrators, and you know, y'all women go hard with your education when we was out here in these streets. Wow. You know, all he really did was work out.
Yeah.
Keep his body fit. You know, do all this good stuff, but it ain't dividends. So he lived with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you know, sometimes he at home. Where she at? It's like 12 o'clock. I know she didn't get off. And she come in the house and be like, please, you don't pay no bills around here. Be telling me where I could do and where I could go. And he's saying that's disrespectful. He probably called his mans up like, yeah, man, she came in here about, you know, The Family That Prays. You ever saw that movie?
I did. Yeah, she was mad disrespectful to him. Like that was on another level.
I still don't like Sanaa Lathan.
Because of that, because of her character in that movie.
She played that way too well, man.
She did.
And he played it well too. I was so mad at him because was just, you know, what we would call it, he was a sucker. Like, yo, why are you putting up with that?
Right.
You know, and I know some dudes put up with it because, you know, yo, man, you know, I love her, man. You know, and she take care of me. You know, yeah, she take care of you too. She don't feel like taking care of you. Now you're, you know.
So I got a question. So why does that give a person a license to be disrespectful? So just because a man or a woman is pulling most of the weight financially, why does that give them the right to disrespect? Or it's almost like you're devaluing or belittling, or, you know, like, why is that okay?
It's not okay. There's no two ways about it. There was an OG that told me one time, there's no way possible to do right while doing wrong. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong. It's straight wrong. The only way you can combat that, the only way you can get that power back is to lead a situation, is to not play the game. Yeah. You know, you'll be disrespectful to yourself now because I'm not there. You know, even if I have to struggle, go back to a basement apartment or a studio and work my way, I would rather do that than somebody feel like they're taking care of me. And because they feel like they take care of me, that gives them a license to treat me any way they want to treat me. No. Right. Because isn't that on a man's side, isn't that chauvinistic in a way? Like if I am a man who is making a lot of money and I get this woman who is beautiful on the outside, you know, but she doesn't maybe have a high paying job, maybe she's a model or something like that. And so I get her, and then it's a way for me to control her or manipulate her. Isn't that kind of, you know, chauvinistic in a way? That's it. Exactly. But it's not even the wealthy men. It's the dude that got the job at the hospital. Okay. With the benefits. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And he met you and you got, you know, probably 2 kids already from a previous relationship. You're trying to get your life back together. When he came into your life, he was helping you with all of this stuff. and then he wraps you into a codependency. Now you're dependent upon him, and he's being disrespectful now. And disrespect ain't just cheating, you know. Disrespect is the way you talk to a person. Disrespect could be neglecting a person, just ignoring them. You know, there's so many different forms of disrespect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only way that you can combat that is to not fight it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to stand on your own too and say, look, I'm not going for this. This doesn't work for me.
Right.
There's no changing a person sometimes.
Right.
You know, a person.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I want to touch on something Miss Minnie just said. So she said it's very disrespectful. However, it's a role change happening. So is that a breeding ground for disrespect if you're a traditionalist, when you step outside of what you believe the gender roles are?
My personal opinion, I feel like it shouldn't matter. I feel like you should treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, I'm not from back in the day, so I wasn't raised in a household with a husband and a wife, so I don't know too much about that from growing up personally. I just seen it on TV. You know, having been through, you know, two failed marriages, I understood at a certain point that, and this will sum it all up, the biggest problem I had was my own personal leadership. You know what I'm saying? And if you have real leadership skills and you hold yourself to a certain regard, you won't even be disrespecting somebody. You know, that's just won't be the way you play the game. It's just fun. It doesn't sit right in my spirit to be disrespectful.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
So because there's a lot of cases where you could be disrespectful. Somebody asks you, simple question, are you seeing anyone? You could simply say, I choose not to discuss that. Or you could say, you know, I'm dating. You could say whatever. But the average person is going to say, no. Knowing that they probably got somebody in the wings that didn't get that memo. So now I start taking you a certain way and I start, you know, kind of feeling you and put myself into you. And then after so long, somebody's coming in from the shadows and, you know, I can't, and then it comes off as disrespectful. Like, you could have just told me the truth. Yeah. Especially how small the world is. The dude could be somebody I know.
Right. Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And we somewhere and I see him, but you don't see him. And I'm like, oh, shit, what's going on with you? And he go, oh, shit, there goes so-and-so. Like, I remember boys. Huh? That's who. Stranger things have happened.
Absolutely. So, this makes me think about, from a woman's perspective, how many of us end up being disrespectful because of how we were raised. And it's not an excuse, but I know from my own experience of just growing up with my grandmother, who was very independent, my mother, who was very independent. And so that was, you know, implanted in me as I went on, just, you know, instilled in me, just have your own, don't let nobody control you or take care of you. And so having that mindset, you go into a relationship with that same mindset. And it's like you have these protective walls, and it can come up as the attitude can be kind of disrespectful, because in the back of my mind, I hear my mother's voice saying, don't let no man do this, you know, don't let no man control you, have your own, you know.
Was your father in the home?
No. And that's I had a stepfather, yeah, but that's a whole nother situation. But
I'm sorry, just not too deep, but what kind of situation was it? Like, how was their relationship or their interaction in front of you?
Yeah, so it was disrespect on both parts. So he was very disrespectful as far as how he talked, you know, to her. And my mother, it was very dysfunctional. My mother was the type, like, look, I'm gonna do what I want to do, you know. So it was disrespect on both sides. So I saw it both ways. So it's like when I go into a relationship, that's my attitude without even realizing it. So how does a man deal with that when a woman is coming into the relationship with that type of upbringing? You know what I mean? And maybe she's aware of it, maybe she's not. How do you deal with it as a man, or do you?
You don't. If I knew then what I know now, I would have been 100 miles and running from a lot of those situations I encountered. Okay. Because just because that's how you came up, I shouldn't have to suffer from it. You know, but listen, you know me, it's a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with me, the way I came up. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I didn't come up around a lot of men. I came up around a lot of women. Now, even though I'm a man's man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a very heterosexual man. You know what I'm saying? There are some feminine tendencies that are in my behavior, such as, you know, my lady get loud with me because of something that happened or some way she's feeling. She gets emotional, and instead of me being a man to acknowledge the fact that, okay, this is coming from an emotional place and probably from a more feminine place. You know, if a man would have taught me that about the interaction between men and women, I would have known that. But instead, I'm almost finger popping and rolling my neck back at her.
Right.
What you mean? What you know, and it could be the most simple thing.
Yeah.
You know, you driving, yo, baby, you know, what you want to eat? I don't know what you want to eat. Well, let's just go to Red Lobster. I don't want no Red Lobster. Well, what you want then? Because you get on my nerve, you know, like, where's the patience, brother?
Right. Yeah. From 0 to 100, you just got 2 kids, right?
Yeah, because we girlfriends almost. We just girlfriends who sleep together.
Wow.
It's sad.
Wow.
It's sad. And some women, unfortunately, they don't know any other type of relationship.
Right.
You know, because if you get with a dude who ain't having it, you wanna label him a certain way, but he just simply ain't having it. Like, I don't want to deal with that. And it's the same thing with women. You know, you get with these men who feel like just because I have the male anatomy, and just because I may, you know, he may or may not be the breadwinner, but just because we have the male anatomy, we feel like I wear the pants around here. Who you think you talking to?
Yep.
Yo, get off the phone. I'm home. Like, come on, man. You've been talking to that girl all day. You know, just different things we do just when we feel like, you know, I'm the lion now. Like, I'm home. What's up?
Yeah.
You know, where my food at? Why it don't smell like nothing cooking in here? You know? You know, it comes to a point where a sister got to ask herself, like, hold on, wait a minute. Do I want to deal with this?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or why am I dealing with this?
Right. That's the question.
Yeah. Because if you're looking for the sympathy of somebody, oh, you don't deserve that girl, he needs to change that. No, we well past that now.
Right.
Some things are just embedded. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Bro, for the mate causing the dysfunction. Yeah.
Yeah. So Miss Minnie says, can the disrespectful energy rub off on your mate, causing the dysfunction in the relationship? So if you're disrespectful, right? You grew up in that type of environment. Well, that's what you saw. That's how the OGs taught you to be. And then the woman may have been just, you know, grew up different, just kind of chill. Yeah. But after a while, she like, wait a minute, who are you talking to? And then y'all starting to go back and forth. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It turns into a situation where it's you know, you're matching the energy. You know, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. You know, you ain't gonna keep talking to me like this, and I'm talking to you like that. At some point, somebody's gonna try to match your energy. But I'm telling you, and this is a very mature show, right? It's only like that when the sex is good between the two.
When the sex is good,
because that's what you don't want to let go.
Listen, because if it ain't,
or the money.
Yep. You know? Yeah. Now there's
always a binding thing.
That is a good point. It makes me think about the movie Baby Boy.
There you go. Exhibit A.
There's a whole lot of disrespectful stuff going on. I think about her girlfriend that she was on the phone with, you know, and he was being disrespectful. Baby, who you talking to? Get off the phone, you know. Let me tuck it over your drawers, you know. But it's just like, yeah, you're right. That happened.
And it's both ways, though. You know what I'm saying? There are some brothers that are putting up with way more than they should, just because they don't want to sleep alone at night. Just because they want to have the convenience of rolling over if they feel like it, and you're not rebuffing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people will tolerate a lot of nonsense for affection.
Right.
That's unfortunate. I've been there, both sides of the coin, you know?
Yeah. So what's the solution, right? So if we did come from a background of we've been being disrespectful towards men, towards women, how do you change that? Like, what does respect look like? How do you even begin to start operating in that way?
What I would suggest is you open up your mind and you start by opening up your Kindle. Go get some books. Start with something called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, because that's a book about personal development. You know, The Four Agreements. Don't take any. Always be impeccable with your word. Don't use the word to slander, harm anyone, especially yourself. Don't take anything personally. What people do is not a reflection of you; it's a reflection of them. Don't make assumptions. If you need clarity, ask the right questions. Don't just assume, because that causes a lot of miscommunication and disrespect to arise. And most importantly, always do your best.
Wow.
Any situation. Now, you doing that for yourself,
right?
Then you should be able to attract someone that's doing that for themselves.
Right.
Then you have a mutual understanding, which leads to mutual respect. You know, I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated. You know, I would tell anybody that I'm dealing with, like, and some people that I may dealt with may think this is a broken record, but my thing is all about it being voluntary. This is voluntary. There's nobody going to be held against their will,
right?
On either side of the situation. You're here for as long as you wish to be here. And if you don't wish to be here no more, don't disrespect me by lying to me, and then I gotta find out from the homie that you was creeping, or don't disrespect me by telling everybody around me that you don't want to be with me no more. But you know, I'm still helping you pay bills, and I'm still bringing roses home and trying to get a date night organized and all of that, and vice versa. It happens. Right. Everything I'm saying is interchangeable.
Yeah,
you absolutely. Know, and this also goes for same-sex relationships.
Yeah.
You feel me? There's a book I'm reading, and I would suggest men and women read it, and it's called The Way of the Superior Man.
The Way of the Superior Man. Okay.
Very dope book. I think Lauren London gave it to Nipsey Hussle, and he suggested it to Charlemagne, and that's how I heard about it. But I've been reading this book, and I'm only like a quarter of the way through because I have to keep reading it.
Wow.
Because one of the things it touches on is the feminine and masculine energies that exist in relationship.
Listen, that's a whole other show, because I so believe in that, and I don't think people realize what type of energy, you know, they're exuding or they're operating in, and how that can impact how you relate with other people. But go ahead.
True indeed. Now, for real, that's it. Because he said, like, the masculine and female energies are interchangeable.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a lot of circumstances. I remember the young lady earlier was saying, how did we get to this place where the roles are changing?
Yeah.
You know, there were a lot of things, especially for us as Black people, we just got caught up in. You know, during segregation and all of that stuff, we were pretty much still families. You know, but then when and not just integration, but there's other circumstances where men were taken out of the homes. Like, okay, we'll help this family, but we ain't gonna help it if that man is there. He should be working. He should be provided. Well, how he gonna work and provide if Jim Crow and racism is still stopping him from being that's a dope book. Tanya, you know what's up. You know the vibes.
That's right. Thank you, Latanya.
Yeah, but how is that man gonna be able to provide for his family if you're using systematic racism and oppression to hold him back?
Right.
He can't. So what do? You step in and say, look, I got these greenbacks, I got these green bucks, I got these food stamps, I got this, you know, SNAP benefits or whatever. But I can't give it to you if he's in the picture.
Wow, look at that.
You're from Florida. I think there was a situation in Florida where they had a whole community that was just women and children. Like, you couldn't have a man living in this community. And it was supposed to make it so much more peaceful and this, that, and the third. But at the same time, what does it do for that kid living in that community with no attribute? You know, I'm a boy, and all I got is my mother and my sisters. You know, you know. So we get to that point for a lot of different reasons, but we still end up there, and we still end up broken, and then we just keep repeating the cycle, having babies by people we hardly know.
Right.
You know, just rushing our processes. There's a lot of different circumstances, but we're still here, and we be disrespecting each other for no reason.
Right. Yeah. So what has to happen within you to even want to change? Like you said, you start reading books, the 4 Agreements, and then The Way of the Superior Man. What happens within a person that makes them want to shift and just live and be different?
Well, in my case, it was a second divorce. I mean, you find yourself after, you know, and no disrespect to either one of the women I was married to, but I just really didn't know myself in those relationships. You know what I'm saying? I was living by standards that were placed upon me and not standards that I chose for myself.
Wow.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to provide, I provide by any means necessary. That means if I'm hustling in the street, if I'm working a job, whatever I got to do, as long as I'm providing, that makes me the king. And when I can't provide, that makes you the queen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we have this imbalance where, because I can't give you what you feel a man should be doing for you, you don't have that kind of respect for me. So if I'm not at your beck and call, or just pretty much your sex slave, there's not much use for me.
Wow.
I think you got to make yourself very useful to yourself. Get educated. Make yourself somebody that's irreplaceable, as Beyonce would say.
Yeah. And so it's interesting how what you just shared and what Miss Minnie is sharing, divorce forces you to look at yourself, because that's really what happened for me. I had been going from person to person, and then jumping into this marriage, I didn't know myself, pretty much like you're saying. And so it wasn't until our marriage ended that I was like, okay, well, what is happening within me? Like, how did I get here? That was never.
There's a common denominator.
Right, exactly. So it makes you want to look at yourself and figure out what is really going on. Who am I? What do I want? And so that's where my process started as well. So it's interesting to hear that that's when yours started also. And it sounds like Miss Minnie and probably a lot of other people out there, or even if you haven't been married, it could just be, the end of a relationship that just caused you to take a step back and look at yourself. So what does respect look like? So we've talked a lot about disrespect and what that looks like and how it makes a person feel. But what about respect? What does that look like? How does that feel?
Well, the short answer is, like I've been saying, treating people the way you want to be treated. Maybe you don't mind your lady sleeping. Maybe you don't mind somebody sleeping around on you. So that's why you sleep around. Then you're in an open relationship with somebody. They got something out here now called polyamory and all of this good stuff.
Yeah.
They're people, I be seeing them. They looking for people to be in these kind of relationships with. That may be the thing for you. But if you're a polyamorous person, stop telling a monogamous person that you're monogamous. That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you start treating people with the same respect you want, you don't want somebody to lie to you, don't lie to them. You don't want somebody yelling at you, calling you out your name. Don't yell and call them out their name. Don't even play like that if you can help it, especially if you come from a background like that, because I know how hard it is.
Right.
We in New York, we call it snapping. Down south, I think they call it what? Joking or
I don't forgot what we called it, but yeah, it's something. I know up here they called it Joning. I don't know if this was
Joni. Yeah, I know. I forgot what we call it down south.
I forgot what we called it down south. If y'all,
and it just be like you don't never have nothing nice to say. You love this person to death, but every girl, what's happened to you?
We used to call it ranking.
Ranking, that's what it was. Yeah. So you start insulting each other, and at first it was cute, but now this is how y'all communicate.
Right.
You see the couples in the street. They at the mall. Girl, would you bring your stupid ass? Don't be talking to me like that. Yo, bring on it. Then you say, do I help in this situation?
Right.
But then you try to help and they jump you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, we just all mixed up. And unfortunately, we got to a place in our community where everything that was good, we look at as corny, and everything that's bad, we just accept it as that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I have a son, and I implore upon him, yo, bro, you don't own these young girls, man.
I know that's right.
You're not her father. You don't even know who you are, but you expect her to know who she is already and know exactly what she wants already. And I was there. Teenage relationships. Yeah. In Alabama, I'm from New York, but even in New York, but I went to high school in Alabama. Teenage relationships were serious. We had domestic violence. We had people were having babies together, and it was a lot. Love triangles and all of this stuff when we 15, 16, 17 years old. Yeah. And some people find themselves 30 years later acting the same way. I can't do it.
Right. Absolutely. And I want to touch on something that you said earlier when it talks about learning how to practice respect. It really comes from a place of honesty with self, right? And that's what I've been hearing you saying. Like, when we lie, we're being disrespectful, but it starts with us lying to ourselves. So talk more about that. Like, how do you get to the point of just being honest with yourself and who you are.
So let me answer that first by asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think people lie? What is the number one reason you think people lie?
I think it's fear.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So why would you lie to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're scared of the reality that's your life.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
instead of making the change to your life to actually live better, you get comfortable with living a lie.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I know we watch Maury.
Yep.
We watch them girls get up there and cry their eyes out. I ain't been with nobody. She got the Holly Hobby dress on. She don't look like she don't do nothing but go to church, go to school, and just do nothing.
Yeah.
And she swear that Leon, who they already said got 17 other kids,
right,
is the father of her baby. And you like, how did you even hook up with him like that?
Yeah.
But then they take the test and it ain't Leon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it ain't Joe.
Right.
And then it ain't Earl. And then it ain't Charles.
Yeah.
And then you say, what, sis, what's going on with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the ovulation period ain't for so long.
It ain't for so, yeah. Yeah. So what's
like,
the
you got this many? We not playing spades with this. You can't have no four in the possible. You can't be doing that.
Not four in the possible. Right. Right.
But that's what's happening, sis. They lie to themselves, so it makes it easy for you to lie to anyone else.
Yeah, because when you talk about that, because my friend and I, we watch Paternity Court, and that happens a lot on that show. And it's like, when I think about it, when I think about what may be happening in a woman's mind, like she's on television and she is trying to find out who the father of her child is. It is a feeling of shame to have to admit that there could be more than one person that I'm thinking about, like you said. So it's the shame, it's the guilt that we don't want to face. You know, it's the fear of being judged by other people. It's not wanting to deal with what comes with all of that. You know, what does that mean about me if I am sleeping with all of these people? So it's a lot of things that we deny about ourselves, and we don't want to face that sometimes when the reality comes out. And like you said, Leon and Joe and none of them are the father, then it's like, dang, I gotta really be honest with myself and say that I don't know.
But why wasn't you honest with yourself before then? Like before you went on to tell lies to your vision, because that's television, tell lie vision.
Yeah.
Before you went on to tell a lie in front of our vision, why didn't you just be honest with yourself and say, look, I may just be promiscuous. I need to hire Siobhan. I need a relationship coach right now.
Yeah.
Don't buy the lashes. Don't get the weave. Don't get your nails done or your toes done for a little while. Spend the money to invest in your personal infrastructure so you can stop being out here lying. Because if that's just what you are, if you're a woman that just has an insatiable appetite and that's what you love to do, be honest. Be careful. Take care of yourself, but stop trying to drag innocent people down with you that probably don't know that that's what it is. And that goes for fellas too.
Yeah, yeah. And I totally agree. And I think it's because it's probably really because of what other people think, what we've been taught. You know, a woman doesn't do that. A lady doesn't do that. So it's like you feel like if that's who you are, you can't be that because you'll be judged by other people. Or maybe you're even judging yourself, right? And you don't want to come out, even though you're involved in the acts. Clearly, you doing it, and you're it's coming out in one way or the other. But
this ain't new.
Right.
This ain't new. Let's keep it at 1,000. We got big mamas that got 11 kids, and
a lot of them. Yeah.
Start finding out that uncle ain't really got the same father. And you be like, no word, big mama was doing this, you know. And I ain't saying my big mama, so my family don't fall back.
Now my grandma needs. She only had
stand by and stand back. Okay. You know,
I love it. I love it.
It be like that sometimes, and it's crazy. But if you be honest with yourself and you say, you know, me, I'd be honest. So check this out. Yeah, you know, we ain't really built for certain situations no more. Yeah, I'm not really the type that wants somebody to have a monitor on me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Either you trust me or you don't trust me. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? And I make no promises either. I'm living my life. I'm 48. You know, I've been through the struggle. I got married the first time at 22. I tell people my life was hardly mine. You know, the first 18, 19 years of my life, I'm under my mom's rule. Then I go to the military role. Then I get married. Then I'm in the workforce. You got a boss. You got to be somewhere to sit. Then you get married again, and then you're a father now. So, you know, be honest with yourself. You need some time for
exactly.
you.
Just for a sense of freedom. Like, I don't want to answer to nobody right now.
Yeah, but some people, they just don't want to be alone. You know,
right.
They just can't be by themselves. You know,
that's very true. Yeah.
And I can't relate to that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably could have 20, 30 years ago, but right now,
mm-hmm.
I love as much free time as I could get to myself because I get to know myself better, and I'm gonna be with me more than anybody.
Absolutely. That's the relationship that matters the most, in my opinion. You know, I think a healthy relationship starts with you. So if you don't have that space to develop a relationship with yourself, then, you know, how can your other relationships grow? You know, if you don't even want to be with yourself. So,
and it's got to stop being everybody else's fault.
Absolutely.
Like we said, it's simple mathematics. If you do any type of math, it always boils down to a common denominator. And if, you know, this person did you wrong, and that person did you wrong, and that person wasn't no good, and this one, what drew you to all these no good people?
Yep. You know? Absolutely.
I know they say opposites attract, but come on.
Right.
Every time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there was some times where I was the problem. You know what I'm saying? There was some times I felt myself. You know, I felt like, yo, you know, what I bring to the table is enough for me to do what I want to do. And if you don't like it, that's your problem.
Yeah.
You know, because I know I've dated women that was the same way they carried it in dealing with me. You know, and you got to just always keep your big girl, big boy drawers on and say, you know what, you have a line drawn for yourself and say, this is where I draw the line. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You definitely putting your hands on me, sis. Like, because there's some sisters that's hand friendly, just like guys. You know?
It is, yeah. And then get mad if a man's instincts, you know, causes him to do. Not to say I do not condone a man hitting a woman or a woman hitting a man, but some people really push that button.
And if she hits you, bro, don't hit her back.
Right.
Because I used to tell the kids in the group home, look, if he hits you, that's assault. If you hit him back, that's a fight, and we don't allow fighting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's no fighting, bro. If you with somebody that want to put their hands on you, then you're going to have to keep it moving. Or you're going to find yourself in jail or the graveyard. Because it goes from a slap to a stab real quick sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
It does.
Yeah.
So I can't believe an hour has passed already and that we're at the end of our, because we could go on and on, right? Like just
for sure, man. Time flies when you're having fun. You know?
It does.
This is a real conversation that needs to happen more often.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I wish more people would participate in real talk. You know, because some people just be lying to themselves so much. And then some people just want sympathy from people. Like, did you just keep being in situations just to be able to say, you know, to get the sympathy?
Yeah. And that's a real thing. Like just that victim mentality, like this is always happening to me. That's a real thing. And it's almost like it feeds something in you, like that feeling sorry for yourself and other people feeling sorry for you. Like that's a real thing that happens. And people get addicted to that, just being a victim. So it's breaking out of that and understanding that we are powerful beings, that we have the power, that we have choices. Like you said, we can choose to be in a situation or not. And we don't have to put up with disrespectful behavior, you know, just for the sake of having somebody in our lives, you know, or whatever they're financing our career, or our lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. So,
and you don't got to pay him back. Just leave and do better.
Right.
You know, you ain't got to, I wanted to pay him back because he had slept with my friend, so I slept with his friend. No, y'all both foul. That's just it. Y'all definitely don't need to be together. That's just
right.
Because y'all gonna get innocent people hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People who taking y'all at face value, and y'all got all this drama. It's almost like Beloved. You know, you ever saw the movie Beloved? All the drama that was going on in the house. You be like that dealing with some people, man. So I would just say I've lived long enough, though. You know, so you know, I remember being young and hearing older dudes my age talk like this, and I'd be like, "Well, you had your fun. Stop hating. Let me have mine." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like I tell my son, I'm just trying to teach you this stuff a lot sooner than I did, so you can have a much more quality life than wasting time with heartaches that you caused yourself. You campaign for the nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And thank you, Miss Lady Love. She says, enjoying this dialogue. Don't tell me time is almost up. I know.
Yeah, she got to have me back sometime. You know what
I
I'm
know.
saying?
You're definitely going to be back. You will
The
be
check
back.
cleared, right?
Exactly. So, with the 5 minutes that we have left, tell us about the God Hour. Tell us about what Nat is up to. Tell us about how we can find you, all of that good stuff.
You're so dope. Well, the God Hour is a concept that was created through COVID. I just wanted to talk to my people directly, just like D Nice was playing the music for them and other people were entertaining. I wanted us to have the type of dialogue like I'm having with you tonight. And I wanted to talk to people such as yourself who were in positions in the community to give us well-informed information that can make our lives better. The God Hour is presented by the Live and Learn radio show, the Indie Arts family, and we're just a collective of people who just want to make the world a little bit better than what we found it. And we think that starts with good dialogue, talking back and forth. You know what I mean?
I love it. So, where can we find you? How can people watch?
I am on Instagram. You can follow me at Nat Busy. That's N is in November, A is in Alpha, T is in Tango, B is in Bravo, I is in India, Z is in Zulu, Z is in Zulu, Y is in Yankee.
Nice.
Yeah, remember. and it's 7 o'clock Monday through Friday. Now, occasionally on a Monday through Friday, you're gonna come on and I'm not gonna be there, and that's just because I didn't feel like doing it that day, or I had something else to do. They don't pay me for it, so it's a volunteer thing. You know what I'm saying?
I know, that's right.
But as many people as I can talk to, and I think I've talked to over 100 people since this thing started, and it's been beautiful. I don't know a lot of these people like I didn't know you from before we clicked on the camera, but now we're family. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And that's the beauty of social media, how we can collaborate and find each other. We can collaborate with each other and just support each other's vision and move, those visions forward. So I thank you so much. And thank you, Reese, for sharing that this was a good convo. Thank you, Latanya, for putting his information in the chat. Really appreciate that. And I really thank you, Nat, for coming on and for having me on your show and just for sharing all the knowledge and the wisdom that you have shared tonight, because as you can see, people really enjoyed the conversation and really got a lot out of it. So I really appreciate that. And we will have you back so you can drop some knowledge.
and thank you so much, sister. Thank you for using all that you've been through to not be bitter, but to be better. You know what I'm saying? And thank you for not using your platform to stoke the flames, but to bring a calm and a sense of self. And the You relationship coach is the most beautiful thing you could be, because if you don't have a relationship with yourself, you don't deserve to be in a relationship with anybody else. Facts.
Amen. So thank y'all for tuning in. We will be back next week on Wednesday, and we have your favorite guests on, Patrice and Kareem, and we're going to be having a part 2 of the conversation that
I take exception to that.
All of the guests are favorites. So we're going to be talking about part 2 of what we talked about last time, but this time we're going to call it Friends with Benefits, because we really got hung up on that last time. So Patrice and Kareem will be back next week to continue the conversation about Friends with Benefits and so much more. So tune in next week at 8 o'clock. And in the meantime, check out the God Hour every day, Monday through Friday, on Instagram at 7 o'clock p.m. So thank y'all. Yes.
Thank you, beloved. Be good.
Thank you. Have a good night, y'all.
All right, sweetheart. Bye-bye.